Let's talk about losing some weight. I'm Nick Angeloni and this is the Jiu Jitsu Journal. I'm gonna share with you today the way that I have lost weight for either a Jiu Jitsu competition or an MMA match. And one last thing before we get into it, we are still giving away one free gi to 2 contestants, and the way you enter the contest is just make sure you are subscribed to the channel and leave a comment below and just say, I want a free gi. All right, let's get into it, guys. So there is generally 2 parts to making weight for a competition, okay? First, there is the fat loss stage, and then there is the water cut. In this video, I'm only gonna be covering the fat loss. If you wanna find out about how I cut water, which is the bulk of my cut, I'll leave a link at the end of this video, and I'll also put one in the description below. Okay, so let's first talk about the things that I avoid, the things that I don't wanna do. These are things that I have made the mistake of doing in the past and kind of learned from that experience, or that I've seen others do and learn from their experiences, okay? So the first one that I see a bunch that I always avoid and I always try to get other people to avoid, and that is starving themselves. Okay, I've seen a lot of people, I'm like, wow, you look great today, how much weight did you lose, blah, 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 and they're like, oh, I lost this much weight because, I had an apple today and I had a carrot yesterday. So if I'm not eating enough food, I'm not gonna have the energy I need. I'm gonna be sluggish and slow in practice and in training, okay? And if I'm training and practicing slow, I'm gonna perform and practice slow. My body adapts to what I do in practice, okay? So I wanna have enough calories so that I can train at a high intensity, which will allow me to compete at a high intensity. The next thing that I avoid is early dehydration, okay? I see a lot of people that do this that don't even realize that they're doing it, and you probably have too. What that is like, you see the guys in the middle of July with the hoodie on and, full sweats, and they're bench pressing or whatever it is that they're doing. Or, they got sweats and plastics on underneath their gi while they're rolling, and they're 6 weeks out, okay? I don't wanna do that because losing weight is not about how hot your body is, okay? It's about calories. If I'm hot, the amount of extra calories that I'm gonna burn is very, very minimal, okay? All I'm gonna do by wearing sweats and layers is dehydrate myself a little bit. I may jump on the scale and be like, wow, I lost 4 pounds today. I'm just dehydrated, okay? I'm gonna go home and drink water and I'll put those 4 pounds back on. Or I'm not gonna drink enough water, I'm still gonna be dehydrated tomorrow and not perform as well in practice. Okay, so I want to, I just, I'm training in whatever I normally train. I don't need to sweat extra. All that's gonna do is make me drip sweat in my training partners' faces, and they're not gonna wanna roll with me anymore. So we talked about the things that I actively avoid. Let's talk about the things that I do focus on, the things that I do want to do, okay? The biggest one, pretty much 90% of what I'm thinking about when it comes to losing weight is caloric deficit, okay? And what I mean by that is so let's just make round numbers to make the math easier. Let's say I'm eating 3,000 calories a day and I'm burning 3,500 calories a day. I know if I'm at a 500 calorie deficit a day, I'm at a 3,500 calorie deficit a week, okay? 3,500 calories equals a pound. So if I'm at a 3,500 calorie deficit, I'm going to lose a pound a week. Give or take some fractions of a pound, maybe if I'm dehydrated or if I add a lot of salt, holding water, a little variance like that. But in the long run, that's what I'm gonna lose, okay? Now, depending on how much weight I need to lose and how long I have to do it, I will double that sometimes to lose 2 pounds a week. I don't go beyond 2 pounds, okay? Because if I'm losing more than 2 pounds a week, I'm probably going to be losing muscle along with that. I wanna only lose fat. I wanna keep as much muscle to be as strong as possible on the day of competition. Now, as far as where I want those calories to come from, we're gonna talk about that in just 1 second. I wanna touch on one small but very important thing, okay? While I'm losing fat, okay, this doesn't apply to when I'm losing water weight, okay? But while I'm losing fat, I want to maintain my hydration the whole time. I'll drink about 1 gallon a day to stay hydrated, okay? The 2 things that really helps me with mostly is that sometimes what I've found is that when I'm thirsty, I will get similar feelings that I get when I'm hungry. Okay, so I'm losing weight and I'm sometimes like, man, this can't be right. Like I don't feel good. I must not have eaten enough today. But then I'll find that if I just drink, a lot of water, I'll get fully hydrated. It'll take care of a lot of those feelings, and really, I do have enough calories in my system. The other reason why I'm gonna drink enough water is because actually, if I am not drinking enough water, the water that I am drinking is going to be retained. Okay, my body will hold on to the water that it can get, because it's like, this is all we're gonna get for the day, let's just keep this in. Okay, I don't wanna be retaining water, even though that's not going to really affect me in the long run. It is gonna affect the number that I see in the scale, which may affect my, like, how I feel about that. You don't wanna get closer, or I don't wanna get closer to my weigh-in day and be like, man, I'm not losing weight, and you start to panic and then you start taking drastic measures. I want to avoid that. Okay, so we've talked about how many calories I'm taking in. Let's talk about where I get those calories from. Okay, there's a lot of different schools of thought on how many of your calories should come from fats or proteins or carbs. What I've found works best for me is a higher level of carb intake. Carbs are a faster burning energy source. For me, it allows me to feel a little bit more explosive, a little bit more energetic. When I talk to other people about losing weight, what I would always say is just kind of try different things. So for me, what I do is 50% carbs, 25% proteins, and 25% fats. Some people will do like a 40-30-30. Some people go way low carbs. There is a lot of research out there that says these low carb diets are not the best for performance athletes. But I recommend that everyone try different things when you don't have a competition. Come and see how it makes you feel. But for me, I go 50, 25, 25. Okay, and what I have to do is, so 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So I have to look at those macros coming in and then multiply it by the applicable number, and then I can calculate my percentages of what I'm eating from there. But the most important thing is that I stay balanced. Like sometimes I may kind of vary from that a little bit. I may feel like, I'm feeling sluggish, I'm gonna have carbs or whatever. But the most important thing is that my calories are adding up to my targeted caloric deficit. Okay, so if I'm getting this caloric deficit, I am going to lose weight generally. There is a matter of getting these calories from the right sources though, okay? If I eat a caloric deficit of 500 calories a day, but all I'm eating is Snickers, yes, I'm going to lose weight, but I'm gonna feel like crap and possibly develop some sort of disease down the road, okay? I need to be aware of where I'm getting these calories from, and honestly, it's not that complicated. I stick to the basics, okay? A lot of people ask me, like, what's healthy and what's not. I just use some common sense, okay? Like, if it comes in a bag, like an air-sealed bag, I'm probably not gonna eat it. If I have to go through a drive-through, I'm probably not gonna eat it. Okay, when I go to the grocery store, I stick to the outside of the grocery store, which is, that's like your produce, the deli, the butcher, things like that. It's also the beer aisle sometimes, but that's a separate thing. So in the aisles is where where all the processed stuff is. Okay, that's where your ice cream and your frozen foods. Okay, if the processed stuff is what I'm going to stay away from. I'm going to have a lot of natural proteins. I'm going to have a lot of natural carb sources, and I'm going to have a lot of vegetables. And I want to vary the types of produce and things like that I'm eating, so I can get all the different vitamins and minerals that I need. The last two things that we're going to cover is how do I track the calories that I'm taking in, and how do I track the calories that I'm burning, okay? It's more complicated to track the calories that you're taking in, especially if you're eating natural food sources, because they don't come in pre-portioned packages that say like this many carbs and whatever, okay? So I do have to have a scale. I have to weigh the meat that I'm eating so that I can look up and say, okay, I have 8 ounces of chicken. I can get on the internet and be like 8 ounces of chicken, calories or whatever, and it's gonna tell me how much is protein. It's pretty much all protein, but a little bit of fat. And I can just look that up online and then I write it down. Okay, I gotta write these things down. I have to be exact because I've found that when I've tried to estimate, I end up being way off. I write every calorie down. I don't do this all the time. I just do this for 6 weeks before my weight cut. Okay, so it's a little bit of a hassle, but it's worth it. And then the few things that I am eating that are in a container, like for example, first thing that comes to mind is like coconut oil. I can just look at that package or look at the container of coconut oil and it'll say, 1 tablespoon is 120 calories. And then I put a tablespoon in my coffee, write down 120 calories. Okay, so I keep a detailed log of what I'm eating throughout the day. Now, tracking calories out. This is pretty simple. It can be a slight inconvenience and it does take a slight investment. You can get Fitbits or some sort of calorie tracker for pretty cheap now. Like you can go on to, go onto eBay or OfferUp and just get one of the old generation ones, and they work fine. Like, they don't have all the extra bells and whistles, but all I need is I need a calorie tracker. So I've done Whoop, I've done Polar, and I've done Fitbit. I'm still kind of experimenting with one that I really like. I think Polar's probably the best. But yeah, you just wear a wrist wearable, or I prefer to, when I'm working out, I wear a chest strap, and it tells you how many calories that you're burning. You do have to have it on around the clock and in your sleep, because you are burning some calories in your sleep. Okay, a lot of people will just wear it during their workouts, and you only know how many calories you burned right then. You do have a basal metabolic rate that you're burning throughout your day. Yes, you can calculate it, but no, it is not exact if you calculate it. So with that, I know how many calories I'm burning throughout my day. I've now written down how many calories I've taken in, and as it gets towards the end of the day, I can see if I'm on track for my deficit, and I can say, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit less here or there, and make sure that I'm hitting my 500 or 1,000 calorie deficit every day. All right, so as I said before, this video really only covers the fat loss part of the weight cut. Okay, there is still the second stage, which is my water cut. Okay, if you want to find out more about how I do that, you can check out this video right there. Okay, if not, thanks everybody for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and leave a like. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.